My name is Andrew Strime. I'm 23 years old and I'm a cadet. I've been in the military for 4 years. I enlisted in 2009 prior to coming to ROTC.
My name's Stanley Levy. I'm an MS1 in ROTC.
Major Chris DeBose. I'm a U.S. Army Reserve instructor for SUNY Plattsburgh.
It's a career, and also you get to explore something that you'll never get to explore really anywhere else.
Just to fight for my country, being bigger than something than yourself, part of it.
ROTC is the Reserve Officer Training Corps program for students to get commissioned as second lieutenants in the Army.
Captain Derek John Reynolds, and my age is 43. I've been in the United States Marine Corps, which I served 8 years, and then I switched over to the Army Reserves, and I've been in the Army Reserves and National Guard for the rest of my career. Training's like anything else. You have to practice, and practice is what makes skills become second nature.
Training's great, it keeps you on your toes all the time. It's like a full-time job here at school.
Normal work week starts off with PT in the morning at 6:30.
We PT every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That consists of going outside and going on runs.
You have to be able to take PT tests, physical training, and be able to carry a certain amount of weight.
And then also, packing rucks and running around doing all sorts of fun things.
Gives them the basic skills, skill sets, basic knowledge that they need to get to their first unit.
When I first enrolled, there was nothing currently going on. When I was in the Marine Corps, I was sent overseas to Desert Storm, Desert Shield from 91 to 92. I was in a tank company, so I was a driver and gunner. I was in the M60 battle tanks, heavy battle tanks.
Luther E. Davis, and I'm 93, and I was a Technician 5. I was in World War II. I was drafted in February of 1942. I was sworn into the service in April.
Second skirmish I was with the Army. I was in an infantry company. I was a commander for an air assault infantry company of 146 guys.
Our first campaign that we had in Africa, we got whopped. We lost 5,000 men because we wasn't equipped. And when I first went in the service, we didn't have a gun even. We never got guns till I got to England.
I've been in the reserves for 8 years, and I was active duty for 10 years. So about 18 years in the military right now. I have been an ROTC instructor for 4 years here at SUNY Plattsburgh. The most rewarding aspect, I would say, is watching these guys get commissioned and moving on and hearing the stories as they come back.
Commission on time, that's really what I'd like. If you commission on time, that means you graduated on time and the cards fell where they needed to fall.
I hope to commission here in the next 2 weeks and go on and do great things in the Military Police Corps.
I never thought I'd be in the military as long as I've been in. I figured I'd do a first 8 years and get out after I got my educational benefits.
In the military, I'm kind of open to many things. I'm looking at aviation right now.
And then here it is, 26 years. I have my retirement and I'm still going through it because I feel the benefits are great at this time.
It's very rewarding. It's nice to walk around and wear a uniform that means something, and people that they automatically respect it because they know what it's all about.
And after 8 years, if I don't like it, I kind of could go away from it.
Ultimate goal is to continue to put as many cadets as possible into the service, whether that's active duty, National Guard, or reserves.
I was in the engineers, and I was in 343 Battalion Engineers, and I was in Company E.
I've had a combat infantry badge, as I'm wearing here on my chest. The combat infantry badge is people who have been involved in actual firing conflicts where people are shooting at us, we're shooting back at them, and a lot of people get hurt during those skirmishes. A lot of kids will go overseas and come back with PTSD. When you're at home playing video games and you're shooting at people, they're shooting back at you, you have great reflexes, great skills, but then when you have people dying around you, it totally changes the game.
Our casualties was very heavy. The only way you get ammunition to the guns was with mules. Casualties came back on the mules.
People can't understand why when they go over there, they can hand out candy and water, and at nighttime, the same people you've done that to are shooting at you as you're driving by.
I think it's gotten scary. War's war, I've never been there, so I can't really speak of anything.
People will shoot at you, and then as soon as you're past them, they'll put down their weapon and walk out with their children and start doing other things.
The Germans were going to rule the world. Well, they killed a lot of people. Their own people, too. They didn't care.
You got to sit there and sort of ask yourself, you know, like, oh man, who's the enemy?
And it makes it very hard for people to understand that, you know, when you're being nice and they're not.
Hey, I was in southern France. We had to stop and wait for the supplies to come up. And in the meantime, I got acquainted with the French family, and we went rabbit hunting. And when I had never seen vineyards. I'd seen grapevines, but I'd never seen vineyards. And we went through this big vineyard, and these grapes were hanging there in big clusters, purple, and they looked so nice. And I said to the Frenchman, could I have some of them? And he said, help yourself, sonny. So I did. And they were so sour I couldn't even talk. We went farther and come to more grapevines, and they were small clusters. And he said, oh, you could have some of them. And I said, no, thank you.
We had lots of different creatures over there than we're used to over here. We had in my bunker that we were in, there was a gecko that would visit us every night, and we had a bug net around the cot, and he would be inside staring at you from sitting on your chest. It was rather entertaining, but he was always there, and he ate flies and everything else that was around. So.
And then when we got back to the house, he had to tell everybody about me trying to eat the wild grapes or the sour grapes. It was a nice family, and when I had to leave, the aunt gave me a bottle of wine that was 13 years old. They were nice people.
The soldiers say this holiday weekend away from training means more now because after Christmas, it could be a while before they see their families again.
I think it's very top of everyone's priority list right now is getting home. Training is kind of right now, everyone's in a lull, and we're doing the training, but their minds are on being home.
If you can picture being away, not being able to call home, only being able to write, you do that for 365 days where your days go on up to 18-hour days every day. There's no weekends, no holidays. Every day is the same thing over and over again.
We wrote letters back and forth all during the war. And then I came home, I come up to see her. And I went back home, went to work, then I come back and married her.
Deploying away from your family, being away, I guess, would be the worst part. I think all war has changed. There's been a big globalization that's occurred throughout the U.S. and through the world. Battle has changed from where soldiers fight countries, and so it's a country-on-country skirmish, to today we're hunting down individual terrorists and small groups.
They won't be using soldiers.
Straight out of a sci-fi movie and into reality, the U.S. military wants robots. In today's Big Eye, we want to show you what the future of war could look like on this robot called Pet Man.
Look at the new military technology that could save hundreds of lives. They're testing a robotic bomb-sniffing dog named Rex to see how it behaves on the battlefield. And that's just one of the ways that robots are helping to patrol the front lines.
They'll be using missiles and unmanned vehicles and everything. It's the way I see it.
A lot more people, a lot better equipment than we used to have.
Relies hugely on the equipment that we have, the uniforms that we wear, and also the training that we have.
But that's what I imagine, you know. You can't really trust anyone except for the people to your left and right.
No one knew that we would be fighting in countries in a modernized war where people weren't wearing uniforms and the battlefield was 360 degrees. It's hard to say where the future holds,